Hey everyone, just a quick run through of CUHOF 5. We're going to run it, so I figure I may as well record it here. But basically, better before you start these, it's best to go get your missions, just in case. And of course, there's daily missions that you might have. I think I've got all mine. Yep. So if you don't have a key, you can make a T or make a team. Enter here. You're going to have the Nawa cells in your inventory. And it's 5 Nawa cells to enter CUHOF 5. And it's pretty much all the same mob in here. Really not too much unexpected. And it's the same thing with all the CUHOF instances. Whether you loot or stay in your team, it doesn't really matter. I like to kill the team once I get in. But at the end, there's 3 chests that you loot. So you can loot these, but it'll say this creature didn't carry any loot. That's basically all it will tell us. And this is kind of a long and kind of tedious instance. This is the longest one of the 5, of course. But it is a pretty good, I don't know, it's good skills. There's a good for the codex, for the Duhol codex. I've done this quite a bit, and I've got the Duhol starred. Mostly because of this mission, and then also with the crown mission, there's a bunch of Duhol you have to kill. And, you know, one part, that's probably the worst part of that crown mission, from my experience, was the Duhol parts. So you may want to... I don't know, you may want to break it up like I did in doing this instance every once in a while, because some of the Duhol parts, just on a rare occasion, will drop the parts that you need in kind of a chunky, they'll give you like 8 parts, something like that, where you can normally, you can go an hour and maybe get 1 or 2, and you need 60 for that stage of the mission, so it gets really tedious and frustrating when you're not looting them and you're looking for them. But this helps break it up a little bit, and the Mirsal tokens, I really like them. I mean, they're good markup. For selling, I've never had a problem with them at about 800-900%. And then there's a new vendor with the Mirsal tokens. Not really a new vendor, but there's some new stuff that you can get with it that's I find really interesting, like crafting signs, and then of course there's the apartments and shops that you can buy with them. But I actually really enjoy these instances. They're pretty fun. I've looted, I believe, 3 of the Baraka unlimited armor parts, and they're all from these instances. I believe it was 2 that I looted out of CUHOF 4. And then the harness, I think I got out of CUHOF 5 once. And there's some furniture that drops every once in a while. There's some kind of oddball things that'll drop in here. And, you know, like all the other instances are about the same layout. It's this big cave, and then you go through a door, and there's another kind of cave, and then, you know, so once you see one CUHOF instance, you've pretty much seen them all. And then these guys also have 650 hit points. So they're not terribly bad on the, they're level 14. So if your looter level's over 14, you should be plenty good to go on these guys. At least that's how I judge the looter level, is by the mob level. I don't know if that's exactly accurate or not, but it seems to pan out when I track my runs, that when I stay under my looter level, things are make more sense. When I go above my looter level, things start not making as much sense. So something to, at least that's an indicator I go by anyway. Your game, of course. Play it however you wish. But I do enjoy this instance, and that Baraka armor is kind of an interesting... I do wonder if they'll do upgrades for it. It does kind of fit for an upgradable armor one day. And skills in here aren't too bad. A little quiet without the... Let's see what happens. I don't know if this will work or not, but sometimes they'll get you on the music. See if it changes anything. I know Entropia, if you try to do music and streaming, it'll not work out usually, because even though they have a streaming license, they have a license to do the music. When you stream it, you don't necessarily. So Twitch or YouTube will just ban it or block it or copyright claim it. Somebody will copyright claim it anyway. Not that that matters too much to me. I'm kind of enjoying the process of making the videos, actually. It's more of what I'm after. Let's try to get better at editing, see if I can do some other things with it. And I hope you enjoy the content. I've got a lot of videos that I've added in the past week or two, and then over the years I've had a bunch. I kind of neglected the channel for quite a while. But like I say, I'm kind of learning the videos and figure I might as well put up the content that I'm running pretty regularly anyway, so that people get an idea of what it is without having to maybe put out their money for it before they get into it. And pretty much as soon as you're done with an area, it'll give you an indicator with this green, unlock the door for the next part of the cave. You've got plenty of time, and there's 3 hours to do it. It takes about, I'm going to say it takes about 20 minutes. But we'll see it. We'll see at the very end here, and then we can also see, you know, how many mobs there are total. That will give us an indication. How much damage total. I actually didn't buy any ammo before I came in. And that's one kind of tricky thing, is if you don't have enough ammo to last the whole run, you might run out in the middle of all this because you're not getting any loot along the way. So if you're running a tight budget like I do pretty often, sometimes you can find yourself in a little bit of a pickle where you end up having to use usually what I end up doing is having a melee weapon as a backup for when I run out of ammo, just because that happens every once in a while. But we should have enough to make it through this little cave here, and then I'll show you where the next terminal is. So there's basically a terminal at the very beginning where you start. And then there's a terminal up ahead here a little bit. So there are terminals to get some ammo, but you may have to... another thing that happens to me a lot of times is I've run this quite a few times with the swine, which at tier 7 anyway, with tier 7 with all the enhancers, it will die. It will die right about the end of this room from the beginning. So if you use this gun here, it'll pretty much decay the whole 200 ped here before the end of this cave. And so that's one thing also, is if you have a weapon that decays a lot like that. There is a terminal, but usually what I end up having to do is either use a different weapon all the way to it, or sometimes if I'm stubborn and I just want to run the whole thing with the swine, then you can basically run up to the terminal, but you gather a lot of them. So you might have to kind of plan ahead to heal if you do that, because they'll be hitting you while you try to repair your weapon. I know melee can be a kind of a problem like that sometimes. So if you don't have your portable repair unit, it might be just something to watch out for in these instances. And really, it's only really this instance. The swine is about the worst decay weapon I can think of. And like I say, it dies by the end of this cave, but it lasts through the 4 just fine. So I don't think you'd run into that problem too much in the other instances. But there is a kind of a thing about using swine a swine like that, high decay. If you ever have the inclination to try it out. When you use high decay, basically you're boosting the end of the chests, and it's kind of interesting to notice the difference. Like you can get up to almost 250 ped, or at least I can get up to almost 250 ped per chest with the Swine Deluxe, whereas it's more like 120 with this chip per chest. So there's a little bit of a way that you can use that to your advantage. If the chests are dropping Mirsal, then and that's what you're after, then you can kind of get more for the effort that you spend in here. Of course, you've got more cost on the gun going through it, but at the same time, the reward at the end, especially when it's a targeted markup like the Mirsal and whatever other parts that might be in here, that is usually why you do them. One little tip: you spend more, but the possibilities are better. And I want to say I came in here with 400 ped ammo, but I didn't even bother double checking. I just wanted to run this real quick before the daily. One thing to note on the daily mission for the crown, for the crafting part of it, make sure you click OK on all of the dialogues, because there is if for example, he'll give you the mission of what you need to craft, and then if you go off and just craft that mission without hitting the OK button first to accept that part of the mission, even though that it gives you the mission and shows you it shows it to you up on the mission thing. If you don't hit OK, it's not going to start. It's not going to count. And you have to go back and hit OK, and then you have to go back and craft what you already did. So be real careful with those dialogues. Make sure you go through them and click them first. Collecting the parts first won't work. You have to have the mission open and ready at that stage in order for the parts to count. So that really tripped me up. And then the other part that really tripped me up was After I completed my mission 2 days ago, I went in and turned in the thing, and he said, "Congratulations, we've got another day." But I didn't hit the OK, and I just walked away. So even though I turned it in and I got the dialogue and everything, because I didn't hit the OK when I went back the next day, he was ready for me to hit the OK. So basically, I lost a day. So it's something to keep in mind. Pay real close attention to those dialogues, because that's pretty frustrating. And DSEC is a little bit tricky like that too. And like the Mary Cracker mission was very similar to that. A lot of the Toulan stuff seems to be very particular, making sure that you follow the directions and collecting the things in order, not pre-collecting, that type of thing. So this is usually about where the Swine Deluxe will die. And then other weapons, there might be other weapons that are like that too. So what I'll usually do is when I'm really particular and just want to do all decay for the run, then I'll run to this terminal over here and I'll show you. And then I repair, and then I go on from there. But it's kind of a peaceful instance. I don't know why there's no music in here. It might be just because I started it without it. I just noticed there's a kind of like a tunnel up there. It looks like it just goes into the next section, but I've never really looked around to see if there's places you could fly up to, for example. I'm sure other people have, but I'm sure you could probably fly through there if you really wanted to and get into this room. It appears. And then the terminals are over here in this corner. So usually what I'll do is just run over here and do the repair and let them beat on me while I do it. And then you can buy armor or buy ammo. And like I say, once you get a bunch on you, it can add up. This isn't the best armor in the game, but it's also not the weakest armor in the game. And I've got some pretty good hit points. I think I'm at 365 now. But if I'm not careful, they'll kill me. And then you might be in a tricky position too, that if you die right here, I don't know where the revive is. You might have to revive all the way back in the beginning. I'm not sure. I haven't died yet. It would be tricky if you died and revived here. And you have this big mass when you have no hit points. So, there'd be a little bit of being careful if you decide to be stubborn like me with a weapon like this one. And this is kind of the last big cave, but it's not very populated. And I didn't grab ammo, but I think we're probably going to run out. It's going to be tight. Yeah, I think we'll probably run out, but that's okay. I have a knife for that reason. And there's really not very many mobs beyond this point. But you know, it's a fairly quick instance. We're at 20 minutes now. And I think we probably got maybe 3 more minutes, if that. Really not that many more to kill. It's gonna be close. I might have just enough to get to the boss. We'll see. We got 12 shots left. Oh, there may be one more. There may be one more cave here, actually. Oh, no, yep, this is the last little cave. So I'll just use this on them. There's 5 in here, and then there's just one boss on this guy. In the CUHOF 4, there's 2 bosses. And I don't know why there's 2 bosses in there as opposed to all the other instances. That's the only instance I think there's 2 bosses. There's a Mokot and then a Kaffa's boss. This is a Duhol boss. And then we'll see what we get. The boss will be up here in 30 seconds. And this guy isn't. This guy is too terribly tough either. 130 stamina, so he's 1,300 hit points. So that's the worst you get in here, and this is the biggest CUHOF, so it's really not terrible in an instance. See what we get though. So we got some Mirsal token, which is good. That's what I'm after. And there's usually some oils in here, and then sometimes you'll get some other stuff, but looks like about, what is it, 220, 360. And I think that we're close to, we got a Nawa core part there. Like I say, I think we're maybe 350, 400 pet in armor. So it's pretty close to what we spent, our ammo. I really should have double checked, but it's 23 minutes, 196 creatures. So you can get 195 kills in there for the daily. You can knock it out pretty quick doing this. And then of course, one of them is the boss. But yeah, that's the overview of this. And then the Mirsal token, like I said, it's pretty regular at 800, 900%. Kind of depends. And then, you know, like I say, I like to stockpile it and use it. And I know that there's a lot of other people that are buying apartments with theirs or other things. And then let's see what this. Sometimes these Nawaka parts have some decent value. The one of them is the Nawakar MK2 Part B. If you get that one's like 75 ped or something like that. So that's a nice one to get. So you don't necessarily want to throw them away because they can actually have some good markup. But yeah, that's the CUHOF 5. And in case you don't know where this is at, this is a lake, not a teleporter. So you can go from this teleporter here or this teleporter. This is Al Nahar Snow Mountain. And then this is, you can go north from Pit North. And this is kind of like a little valley out here. And yeah, that's where it's a cave. And the entrance is kind of through here, and it's a pretty neat place. I can go out and for the CUHOF Duhol daily mission, it's handgun skills, what the reward is. So that's that, and I'll go out here and kind of show you guys what the exterior looks like and what the entrance. It's kind of tricky for some people. But as you can see, it's basically mountains all the way around here. And so you can come in through here if you go south from this teleporter and then into this little area. And there's a little trail here that you can kind of follow. And it's kind of hard to see if you don't know what you're looking for. But there's the lake. Here's the tunnel. And that is CUHOF 5. Thank you very much for watching. Forgoification on YouTube. And Forgo TV on Twitch. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching and have a good day.